Welcome to Psych with Sigmund, the podcast where we delve into the fascinating world of psychology to understand ourselves and the world around us better. Today we're going to explore fear conditioning, a powerful psychological concept that helps explain how our fears are learned and can be unlearned. Fear conditioning is essentially about how we associate certain stimuli with fear, leading to a conditioned response. Imagine walking into a room where you once had a terrifying experience. This is because your brain has learned to link that environment with fear through past experiences. The concept of fear conditioning emerged from classical conditioning theories, notably from the work of Ivan Pavlov and his experiments with dogs. However, it was John B. Watson who applied these principles to human behavior, demonstrating how phobias could be induced in children through associative learning. The most famous case is perhaps Little Albert, where a child was conditioned to fear a white rat by associating it with a loud noise. Over time, our understanding of fear conditioning has evolved significantly. We now know that it involves complex neural pathways, including the amygdala, which plays a crucial role in processing emotions like fear. Key psychologists and researchers have contributed to this understanding, including Joseph Wolpe, who developed systematic desensitization as a therapy for phobias based on the principles of fear conditioning. Research has shown that fear conditioning is not just about learning to fear specific objects or situations, but also about how our brains process and remember these fears. For example, studies using functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, have found that the amygdala is activated when individuals are exposed to stimuli they fear. Moreover, research on post-traumatic stress disorder (PTSD) has highlighted how traumatic experiences can lead to the conditioning of fear responses to a wide range of stimuli, making everyday life challenging for those affected. Understanding fear conditioning has numerous practical applications in psychology and everyday life. It helps us address phobias, anxiety disorders, and PTSD more effectively. Therapies like exposure therapy rely on the principles of fear conditioning to help patients gradually become comfortable with the stimuli they fear. For instance, someone with a fear of spiders might start by looking at pictures of spiders, then progress to being in the same room as a spider in a terrarium, and eventually work up to touching a spider in a controlled environment. Another significant application is in the treatment of anxiety disorders. By recognizing how fears are learned and maintained, therapists can develop targeted interventions. This might include teaching relaxation techniques like deep breathing or progressive muscle relaxation to reduce physiological symptoms of anxiety, or using cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, to challenge and modify negative thought patterns that contribute to fear. Fear conditioning also has implications beyond clinical psychology. Understanding how our fears are conditioned can help us navigate personal challenges and anxieties in a more informed way. It encourages a compassionate approach to dealing with our fears, acknowledging that they are often learned responses that can be unlearned with the right strategies and support. In conclusion, fear conditioning is a profound psychological concept that sheds light on the complex mechanisms of fear and anxiety. By grasping how our brains associate stimuli with fear, we can begin to manage and overcome these fears. Remember, as Joseph Wolpe once said, the goal of therapy is not to eliminate fear entirely, but to learn to live with it in a way that does not interfere with daily life. Embracing this perspective and applying the principles of fear conditioning can lead us towards a more nuanced understanding of ourselves and our emotional landscapes. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, may your ego find balance between pleasure and reality.